Hello everyone. Today we're going to be working on dissecting the brain. Before us we have a sheep's brain, very similar to the human brain but a little bit smaller. So first off, we got to take off this outer exterior layer, which is known as the meninges. And the meninges is composed of 3 different layers. The outermost layer is called the dura mater. This is also known as tough mother. And this outer layer is the most protective layer for the brain. The dura mater is the outermost layer of the meninges, laying directly underneath the bone of the skull and the vertebral column. It's very thick and tough, and as you can see here, I'm having quite a bit of difficulties actually trying to cut through it. But right below that layer is known as the arachnoid matter. It's kind of got like a spider web type of look to it. It's a little more vascular, and this allows for more connections to occur throughout the brain. And right below that, there's a thin little layer that you might not be able to see too well from this video, but that's known as the Pia Mater, or the soft layer membrane of the meninges. The arachnoid matter is the middle layer of the meninges, laying directly below the dura mater, and this contains a lot of connective tissues and is avascular. Underneath the arachnoid matter, there's a little bit of a pocket. This is known as the subarachnoid space, and this is where the cerebral spinal fluid is, and this is basically acts as a cushion for your brain. So if you ever get a head injury, you have a little bit of a cushion in order to help protect your brain from being damaged even further. The brain is part of the central nervous system that is contained within the cranial cavity. The brain is composed of 4 major divisions. One, you have the brainstem. 2, you got the cerebellum. 3, the dicephalon region. And finally, but not least, the cerebrum.
So you can see here we have the brain that's split into 2 hemispheres. We have our left and our right. And for y'all that don't know, the right part of the brain controls the majority of your left side of the body, and your left part of your brain controls majority of your right part of your body, and they intertwine up in the center, which we'll get more in depth with. So the brain is split into different regions. So right up here, this whole bigger portion, this is known as the cerebrum, and towards the front of the brain, this is where our frontal lobe is, and you can see these lines that are segmenting the different portions. Over here off to the side, we have our parietal lobe, and down below is our temporal lobe. And then more towards the back of the brain is our occipital lobes, and this little portion right here is known as the cerebellum, also known as the little brain in Latin, I believe. And right here, this is where the spinal cord connects to the cerebellum. And once we cut that, we'll get a closer look at the medulla oblongata. So as you can see here, the brain is made up a whole bunch of different bumps and grooves. These darker lines, which are the groove portion of the brain, is known as the sulci, and this lighter portion, the bumpy part, is known as the gyri. And basically this allows for the brain to have more surface area, and basically those grooves are going to have twice as much as they normally would, and this allows for more axons, neurons, and dendrites to be present within your brain. And the human brain will actually have probably a little bit more sulci and gyri because we have a lot more gray matter to be produced in our brains compared to a sheep's brain. We're going to go ahead and make our incision straight to separate the lobes in half, as well as the cerebrum and the spinal cord as well. Okay. After you cut, see all the different components that make up the inner part of the brain.
Over here towards the back of the brain, or close to the spinal cord, this is the cerebellum. And if you take a look, it looks like a small little brain itself, and in Latin it actually means little brain. The cerebellum is responsible for controlling muscle movement and tone, and it helps govern the balance and helps regulate your movement intentionally. And so this is how you learn your motor skills through walking, or even just like grabbing things with your hands.
So right here we have the corpus callosum. This darker line is known as the first ventricle. Or no, sorry, this first dark line is known as the lateral ventricle. Right down here we have the third ventricle. Coming back up into this region is known as the fornix. And then coming back here, we have the pineal body. So right over here in this lighter region, this is known as the corpus callosum. Right over here in this dark line, this is known as the lateral ventricle. Coming over here, within this region, we have our third ventricle. What is that called? So up in this darker portion of the brain, this is known as our gray matter, and that's where our cell bodies are going to be. And down below in the lighter region, that's our white matter, and that's where our axons are. And the cool thing about our axons, it's surrounded by a layer of fat, and this is what actually sends the messages from the cell bodies to the rest of the brain, and the neurons help make up the neurons. So right in this region we have the corpus callosum, and so that exterior part of this is our basal ganglia. Okay, so the brainstem is made up of three different segments that we've already talked about. But right here we have the medulla oblongata. It's leading up, and this is the primary pathway for ascending and descending nerve tracts. And it's also the center for several important reflexes such as heart rate, breathing, swallowing, and vomiting. Coming over here to the pons region, this is the area that's containing ascending and descending nerve tracts. This relays information between the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the reflex centers. Coming up to the midbrain, this is the area that's containing ascending. Okay, so the brainstem is made up of three different segments that we've already talked about. But right here we have the medulla oblongata. It's leading up, and this is the primary pathway for ascending and descending nerve tracts. And it's also the center for several important reflexes such as heart rate, breathing, swallowing, and vomiting. Coming over here to the pons region, this is the area that's containing ascending and descending nerve tracts. This relays information between the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the reflex centers. Coming up to the midbrain, this is the area that's containing ascending and descending nerve tracts, and this serves as the visual reflex center and part of the auditory pathway. All right, the brainstem region connects the spinal cord to the cerebrum, and this consists of the three major areas that we had pointed out before. The medulla oblongata, This part is responsible for ascending and descending nerve tracts, and also as the center for several important reflexes such as heart rate, breathing, swallowing, and vomiting. Coming up over to the pons region, this little bulge part. So after we cut the brains in half, we pinned off different regions to really show the inner part of the brain. So coming up here, starting at number 1, this section that wraps around is known as the corpus callosum. Coming over here to the dicephalon region is this whole region right over here, but the pin 43 is pointing at the thalamus, and right below in this little region is known as the hypothalamus. Then coming over to the brainstem region, this is made up of 3 different sections. Right here we have the medulla oblongata. Coming up here to pin number 46, we have the pons region. And then coming over here to the hypothalamus and thalamus region is known as the midbrain.